Hello, Rebel, and welcome back to my life. This video is coming to you very late on Friday night because I've been working hard all day on the final edits for the next book of Underrealm Stoneheart, which you should be hearing about next week. The kids are asleep, and Megan will probably soon be joining them, and as the kids were going to sleep, as I do every night, I sat down outside their rooms and I played guitar for them. You have seen my guitar in my videos for quite some time now. You may have heard me reference the fact that I have been learning how to play it for, what's it been, about a year and a half now. You may also have heard me reference the fact that I am not particularly good at it yet. And I'd be lying if I said I didn't consider that my time playing for the kids each night was at least partially practice time, an opportunity to get better at it. But it's also just a thing that I want to do for my kids, a thing that I want them to have as a part of their life that they remember when they get older. Like, I'm positive that they will ask me to stop doing it at some point, or maybe they just won't be as interested anymore. I will not play them to sleep with a guitar every night for the rest of their lives. But I hope that even after that point comes, and then when they get older and they grow up, they remember that I used to do that every night, or that there was a long stretch of time when I did that every night. Another ritual that I try to have with the kids is we have a reading time. Not a time that I read to them, although sometimes we do that too, but just a time where we all sit in the living room and read our own books together. The other thing that I've done frequently for a good long while now, which I actually has dropped out recently, but which I'm going to start doing again, is taking them to a comic shop once a week. Just take them to a comic shop, let them pick out one comic, whatever it is, and we take it home. After paying for it, if that wasn't perfectly clear. We don't steal the comics. We buy the comics. That is another thing, a weekly tradition, a thing that they enjoy and that I hope they remember. I hope it's an important thing to them. I hope that it's something that becomes part of their identity, I guess. I like this idea of doing things that become a bit of a ritual, a bit of a formative experience for them, or a formative series of experiences for them, a formative sort of thing that they can depend on. And it made me start thinking about things like that my parents did for me, and it actually kind of upset me at first because I couldn't think of it. My dad owned a guitar, but he didn't play it for me on any sort of regular basis. I think I can recall 2 times that I saw it, and they never took me to a comic store or anything like that, and I just started going, wait, what does that mean? Does that mean anything? But then I remembered that every single day my mom and dad would cook an amazing meal together. They were both really, really good cooks, and they always made food and separate dishes that went well together. And I remember that every time there was some super awesome, nerdy, geeky movie out, my dad would always take me to it. Jurassic Park was the first one that I remember, which I was probably way too young to see. And then every time that Star Wars re-released in theaters, which was multiple times during my childhood, and Lord of the Rings, and when Marvel started coming out. And I remember that we would not go to a comic store, but we would go to a local bookstore pretty much every week. Not every single week, but pretty much every week. And especially during the years when my parents were doing financially better than in other years where they were not quite as successful, we went traveling. We went traveling together. It was a thing that we did. We would go experience new places, and my parents would teach me how to learn about them, how to think about them, and how to compare and contrast them with the places that we live. And as I was remembering these things and listing them out for myself, I realized that I had never thought of them as rituals. To me, that was just the way that life was. And I think, or I hope at least, that that is the mark of a successful ritual that you instill in your family, especially as a parent, where it doesn't become a big thing with a lot of attention hanging off of it. That's just the way things work. And I realized that some of those rituals that I grew up with have stayed in my life, and some haven't. Megan and I don't cook together for the family every night, but we do go traveling with the whole family regularly. We do take the kids to bookstores, even if not every week. And I know for a fact that those were not things that my parents grew up with themselves. They were things that when they had their own family, they created them. They created them as rituals that they instilled in me, so that just became life. Thinking about this has made me extremely grateful to my parents and the things that they did to make sure my life was just sort of awesome on a day-to-day basis. And I really, really hope that when they get older, my kids feel the same way. That's all I've got for you today, Rebel. Sorry this video is so late. It is, however, you will have noticed, ad-free, and that is thanks to my incredible supporters on Patreon. If you want to be one of those amazing and incredibly attractive individuals, click on the Patreon link in the description below. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you next Friday. Bye!